The big November Madden 23 title update is officially here. It just went live and there's a lot of stuff to cover as usual. As most of you know, each month we get the one big overall game update, and the last few have been pretty massive. A lot of things being fixed, a lot of things also being added, and the same is happening today. There's also a second separate update going live today to help the franchise draft glitch as well. So a lot of stuff to cover, and as usual, we're probably gonna have to split this up into two videos because it's just too much to cover in one. So make sure you're subscribed with the bell icon on, because I'm gonna have a follow-up video that's gonna go over all the stuff like new equipment, player likeness, new plays that were added to the game, and much more. But for now, let's start off with the gameplay updates. And the first thing they mention here, which I don't really consider a gameplay update, but this is where they've got it listed. It said that they added the Jalen Waddle signature celebration, which can be used by Waddle and teammates via the team celebration selection after a touchdown. Now, I'm all for adding the little authenticity things. I like when players have their actual celebrations that they do in real life. People have been asking for the Waddle celebration, so it is officially here for those Dolphins fans out there. They fixed an issue allowing players to exploit defenders by using pump fake and throw away at the same time, leading to zone coverage defenders ignoring the QB scrambling past the line of scrimmage. This was the biggest exploit currently in the game. I had posted about it in a video and even in a YouTube short. It's finally fixed, so if you were running into this online, you shouldn't have to worry about it anymore. They fixed an issue causing running back streak hot routes to run straight through the line instead of stemming to the outside. Now, this is a funny one because this changed during the last update, and I thought it was an intentional change that they just didn't mention, but it was actually a bug in the game, so now they have reverted it back to how it was at the beginning of the year, which I much prefer. They fixed an issue preventing QB throw styles from updating correctly in Ultimate Team. They fixed an issue with Mac Jones's passing animation trajectory. They fixed an issue preventing man coverage from covering a tight end wheel route on RPO plays such as gun deuce close, RPO read flat wheel. They fixed an issue allowing a receiver to be uncovered by sending him in motion on gun deuce close, RPO read flat wheel. So the last two bullet points right there are very important because that was another pretty big exploit in the game. It wasn't the hardest thing to stop. I did talk about that also in a previous video, but there were some glitched out RPO plays that people were abusing, so it looks like that has finally been fixed as well. They fixed an issue preventing man coverage from covering a tight end when the offense would audible out of a play wing slot PA double dig. That is another big exploit that was in the game. They covered all of the biggest glitches in the game, at least gameplay wise it seems, with this update, which is very good to see. They fixed an issue preventing play art from updating appropriately to reflect adjustments made to blocking and pre-play. Players will not have to reset the formation anymore to view the blocking adjustments. They fixed an issue in the kick blocking tutorial inside the skills trainer, causing the kick arrow to display incorrectly. They fixed an issue causing receivers to sometimes run whip routes in the wrong direction after getting pressed. They fixed a rare issue that could result in the offense getting the ball back incorrectly when a penalty would be called on the offense and accepted after a turnover on a 2-point conversion attempt. They fixed an issue with a specific SWAT animation that allowed it to trigger from too far away, causing warping, and they fixed an issue allowing deep third and deep quarter zone defenders to break too quickly versus comeback routes. That last one right there is also a very underrated fix because that's just football right there, and when you have zones playing certain routes way too good when in real life they wouldn't play them that good consistently, it takes away from the game. If you can time up a comeback route on the sideline, it's supposed to be a weakness of those deep outside zones, and it wasn't previously, but it looks like they've now fixed it. We've got some NFL Live playbook updates as well. Now, I'm going to go more in depth on these in the follow-up video where I actually go into the game and kind of show you what's going on, but here they are up on the screen right here so you can quickly read the changes that have been made. It's always good to get more playbook updates. I said in a previous video that we will be getting this very soon because it's about that time of the year. Some interesting ones is they added Wildcat to the Giants playbook. They added I-form close to the Rams and the Vikings playbooks, which is actually very underrated. They added I-form close to the Rams playbook. So there's some interesting ones here, but we'll dive deeper into them in the next video. The Play Now Live feature is also officially updated to week 10. So they said they were going to update it for week 10. It's now week 11. I guess what they meant was after week 10, because if you look at the Play Now Live screen, it's still the week 10 matchup. So it's basically everything that happened up until the games last week. So if you want to start a franchise with all the updated records and stats leading up to week 10, it's now there and available. The next update, I believe, is going to be Wild Card Weekend. Now, another thing I'm surprised is not a part of this update while we're finishing up the gameplay portion is that they did not update update the X Factor and Superstar players. That is the biggest mystery to me because we're halfway through November. Usually this is the time of the year where they do this, so that means it's more than likely gonna definitely be the next update because they're gonna change them at least once a year. But it seems like the past few years they've been doing less and less of the X Factor and Superstar changes. They've only been doing it like once a year if we go back to last year, and it looks like they're gonna do the same thing again this year, which I feel like it should be updated a little more often than that. Franchise updates. So right off the bat here, they're saying the team was able to fix multiple high priority issues with server-side fixes since the last title update. There is also an attempted fix going live today for the draft revert bug. The draft revert fix is a server-side fix, and while it's deploying at a similar time as the title update 4, it's not a part of this title update specifically. So you may have remembered some of the previous videos I did where EA was posting on their forums about franchise-related issues. They fixed the issue where the 30-second person wasn't able to join a franchise. That was a server-side fix, meaning once they got the fix, they were able to push it through right away, and you didn't have to wait for a title update. Well, the draft revert bug is a similar thing where they didn't have to wait for a title update to get it fixed. It was a server-side issue, which is kind of why a lot of things get fixed in MUT very quickly, because a lot of the MUT issues tend to be server-side, which means you don't actually have to go in and change the coding of the game. Thus, you don't have to get these updates approved from Microsoft or Sony. So the same thing happened with the revert bug. It's just that they found the fix for it around the same time that the update was coming out anyway. So that is a separate update that should be going out later, and that should hopefully fix one of the biggest issues with the game. For more franchise updates, we have these right here. They fixed an issue where difficulty settings were carrying over from the front end and changing within leagues. Fixed an issue in the league history screen where the Commanders were appearing as the Washington football team. Fixed an issue where some teams were not prioritizing the right archetype at quarterback. Fixed an issue where some players with abilities were not appearing in the X Factor database. Fixed an issue where the season goal was displaying in the post-game goal screen after preseason games. And of course, general stability improvements, which none of us really know exactly what that means. They also did some phase of the franchise updates as well, which I'll pop up on the screen right here. They're just some little bugs. These might have been things that a lot of you weren't even running into, just kind of little annoying bugs that were in the game. A lot of cosmetic stuff it looks like, but there is a dev note here under their general stability improvements that said there have been reports of some players not being able to advance in the second season inside phase of the franchise. And our second title update in early October, we fixed an issue with the second contract signing that could prevent players from successfully signing the contract and therefore being stuck unable to advance into season 2. The fix allows players to sign their second contract and advance to season 2 if they were blocked from advancing prior to the October update. There are some fixes for Madden Ultimate Team as well, which I'll pop up on the screen right here. Again, kind of similar to Face of the Franchise, just little annoying issues, probably things that a lot of people might not have been noticing or even coming across, but basically just some little bugs that were in the mode, like the filters on the halftime screen, the currency displaying wrong, and some minor issues with the 4K display. The yard game mode also got some updates. We haven't really been seeing them do much with this mode or Superstar KO, which I think is kind of unfortunate because you spent the time and money to put these modes in the game. They have more potential than where they're currently at, and I know that it might not be everybody's cup of tea, but for the people that do play it, it would be nice if they would try to do some more things with it. Now, for the yard, it says that they're excited to bring you Nickelodeon's fantasy football movie players Bobby Coleman and Anderson Fisher exclusive to the game. These players will be available in the Superstar KO draft and showcased during a featured live event in the yard. So basically, that's just something that the NFL is gonna, make them do every year. When they have these partnerships, they got movies or they got partnerships with Nickelodeon, they're gonna make them put that stuff in the game. That's why you see things like SpongeBob come to the game. We also have some presentation and UI updates, which I'm popping up on the screen right here. And again, for me, these are things that I haven't really noticed much myself. They're little things. These might be the kind of things that you might not even notice, but EA themselves just know that they're there, so they're going in and cleaning them up. Like, for example, it says here they fixed issues with unnatural lip movement and eye movement in specific sideline shots. Like, I don't know. I don't notice stuff like that personally. I don't pay that much attention to it, but it's not something that really makes or breaks the game for me. Now, I'm going to get a follow-up video out really shortly after this going over the equipment, the playbook stuff, and the player likeness updates for Madden 23. But in the meantime, if you want to know about the upcoming NFL 2K game that is set to release next year, make sure you check out this video right here on the screen.